Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to learn how we can do some drag and drop with React. So I was actually implementing these on my own website, Telmo Academy, which is going to be launched like really soon. And I wanted, like, for example, to organize my courses that I want to display on the page, maybe like in a certain order. So that's why I decided to apply this kind of React drag and drop in here. So this could be, for example, some of the courses that I want to reorder. And as you guys can see, look, for example, I can grab this one, move it onto the first position, or maybe grab this one, the React, move it onto the second position. And then I could just go in here on the top, press save feature courses or whatever. If I refresh the page, as I can see, they just stay like the same. Alright, so I'm not going to do exactly like this in here because this is like my course, but we are going to do something easy like this, that we have like 3 products, could be like 3 t-shirts. This could be, for example, your own website, and we are just going to learn how we can drag and drop them around. Okay, for that, we're going to use this package from React called the React Beautiful DND. And as you guys can see in here, could be used even for something like Trello, where you have like loads of different tasks and so on. All right, so I hope that you are ready. So let's get started. All right, so let's go into our Visual Studio Code. And in here, I have a completely new installation of a new React project. So I just run the usual command like npx create React app. I gave it whatever name I wanted. So I call this one, I think, drag and drop tutorial. You can call it whatever you want, really. So for this project, I installed a couple of dependencies. So I installed Bootstrap. I installed React Beautiful DND. So this is like the actual package that will allow us to do the drag and drop. I installed React Bootstrap just so we can style this a bit faster and we don't have to lose too much time with that. Now, inside of my public folder, I created a folder called images. And inside, I just put like my images that I'm going to use for this project. So you can put any images that you want, really. And if you want, of course, I'm going to put a link in the description for all these kind of files that I have in here. All right, so inside of the source folder, let's go inside of our app.js. So inside of the app.js, I just deleted everything in there and I just start completely from scratch. Let's start in here from the top. I imported these kind of components in here that we have from React Bootstrap, such as the container, row, call, and so on. This is the same thing like having a div with a class name of container or a div with a class name of row, but it's just like easier for us to use it. Okay, and now inside of my app component, I created in here a state, which I'm called for now products. And this is going to be equals to a use state hook, which we need to import on the top. And this use state hook is going to be an array of objects. And as you can see, each one of these objects is going to represent the image that we have. Okay, so we have a name for our product. I called it, for example, t-shirt 1. The URL, so this is so I can display the image of this product. And if you notice in here, in the URL itself, I just put in here a /. So it means that we're going to look inside of our public folder. We're going to go inside of the images folder, and then I can grab whatever image I want. And this part in here of the position index, we don't need at the moment. I'm just going to show you in the end, actually. Okay, so I got 3 products in here. Now, what I'm doing in here, just after this state that we created, is we created a new variable called all products, and I'm just going to loop through all these ones, and I'm just going to create like some sort of a styling to display on the page. So I'm going to do in here products, which is our state, okay, in here on the top, and I can use the .map function. So the .map function is a function from JavaScript that allows you to loop through elements in an array, because look, this is an array up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab each one of these products, so basically each one of these objects, and we're going to return something. So at the moment, I'm just going to return this kind of templating. So we got in here a call. So a call is going to be like the way that Bootstrap sets up the grid on the page. And I'm going to say that I'm going to create in here a column with a size of 4. And basically, so the bootstrap grid starts like with the 12 elements. So if you say that each one of these columns is going to take 4, you can put like 3 elements inside. Now we have in here a card element as well, just a bit of styling, and we got the image that we want. So look, we do product URL, which is going to be this to display the image, and we got the name, and we just got an add to cart. All right. After we got all of these, I don't think that we even need this part in here. Okay, let me just save these. Now that we got all of these, we should be able to go in here on the page. Let me just refresh. And here we have all our 3 products. All right, so this was just the initial setup. Now it's going to be time for us to actually start implementing our drag and drop. Okay, so we installed, like I said before, our package React Beautiful DND. If you want to know a bit more about these, you can just go in here to this page, github.com, Atlassian React Beautiful DND. There's lots of stuff that you can read in here, but if you want, you can just like follow with me. All right, so let's go inside of our app.js. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to create in here a drag and drop context. So this drag and drop context is going to be a place where it's going to like wrap around all our elements that we want to drag and drop basically. So let's do that. Inside of our container, I'm going to put in here a drag drop context, just like this. And let me just wrap all of these around my row. Okay. Now, this drag and drop context, this component, we need to import it on the top, of course. So looks is already imported for us. So drag and drop context from React Beautiful DND. Now, in here, inside of this drag and drop context, we need to pass another thing inside, which is going to be a component called droppable. So let's do that. Droppable. Same thing like from before. Let's just wrap our row in here all around this because that's what we need. Let me save this. And this droppable for now needs a couple of properties inside of it. I'm actually going to put this on the next line so we can just put all these properties. It needs a property called droppable ID. Okay, can be anything that you want. I'm going to call it, for example, products sequence. So product sequence. Now it's going to need another property, which is going to be a direction, because you could actually be like drag and drop these on a horizontal way or vertical way, because we're going to move these around like horizontally. I'm going to put in here the direction horizontal. And I'm going to put this in here, which is going to be the type of a column, because basically we're just going to be moving columns around. Okay, so we got this inside of our droppable. The next thing that we need is we need to actually wrap all our rows, our row that we have with all the products inside, with a function. So let's put in here the curly braces, starts in here, closes down here, okay? And I actually need these in here. Sometimes I got these prettier in here that just like changes the style of my page. So let's put in here a function. And this function is going to return all of this stuff, okay? So if you don't know, basically in React, when you put your arrow function and then you just put a parenthesis in front of it like this, it's just going to return all of this stuff. So this function in here from React, what was the name again? React Beautiful DND. So this function takes a property called provided. And now with this property in here of provided, we need to pass it inside of our row a couple of properties as well. Let's do that. And the properties that we have at the moment is, we're going to put in here ... provided droppable props, and we need to pass a ref all of these properties that we are passing in here, they are on the documentation, okay? So I'm just basically following the steps that we need. So we're going to put in here provided dot inner ref. All right, so this is my row. I got this. I'm just going to put for now, so I can see this a bit better, a class name of mi4. So this is a class name from Bootstrap, just to have a little bit of styling on the top and on the bottom of this row. Okay, I think that I got everything that I need. Oh, there's only one more thing, which is after this row, we need to pass in here a provided dot placeholder. This provider dot placeholder is just going to be a way for us to, when we are moving around our elements, so they don't like act like a bit weird, they drop on the page and so on. It's going to be like something that just holds the product so they don't fall off. I'm going to show you in a second that. Okay, we got all of this stuff now. So I think that we got everything for this part. Let me just go back in here. Let me just refresh the page. And at the moment, we still don't have nothing. As you can see, we have a couple of errors because we still didn't finish. So for this part, I believe that we finish. I'm just going to leave in here for a second on the screen, just in case if you want to see if you missed anything. It's very easy to miss like some of these properties and so on. Right, okay. Let's go back now onto the top into our all products, because this is going to be the products that we're going to be moving around. And they need a couple of things. Okay, let me go in here and check. So we need to wrap all of these columns with a component called draggable. Okay, so we need to wrap these all around with this component of draggable. All right, let's see if this is imported on the top. Draggable. Okay, perfect. Now this draggable, same thing as before, we need to pass some properties inside. All of this is coming from the documentation, as I said before. All right, so this draggable in here, this draggable ID, that's what I mean. It could be any ID that you guys want. So I'm actually going to go in here and pass an ID, draggable ID of draggable, and then I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put a $sign. So I'm just using in here the template literals, so we can just inject some JavaScript in here. So I'm going to put in here that each one of these elements that we create is going to have a draggable ID of draggable, and then, for example, the index of this .map that we are doing in here. All right, so we got this for the draggable ID. Let's pass in here for now a key. Okay, so we need to pass a key as well, and the key is just going to be, for example, the same thing. That is enough. And finally, we need to pass an index. Okay, and this index in here could be just like our counter I in here from the top. It doesn't have to be anything else. So I think we should be all good in here with this draggable. So similar like we had from before, inside of this draggable, now we need to create a function that is going to return all of this stuff. Let's do that. So I'm going to go in here, put the curly braces on the top, curly braces on the bottom, just like to wrap all of these around. I'm going to put my function with a parameter of provided. And then I'm just going to go and put in here my parentheses and close it down here. This means that we are just returning all this stuff. All right, so now that we are wrapping all these elements that we have in here, in my actual column in here, we need to pass some more properties as well. Okay, and the property that I want to pass is going to be ... provided draggable props. I'm going to put another one which is going to be ... and then provided drag handle props. That's what we need. And finally, we're going to pass a ref, which is going to be just provided dot inner ref. And I think we got everything, if I'm not wrong. I think we got everything. So let me just refresh the page, see if we're getting something. Probably I missed something. Let me just double check. Oh, I think I know what's the problem. Down here, I think I did a mistake when we did this ref, provider.inner ref. It shouldn't be like with the double quotes, but should be like this, okay? So it should be with the curly braces. So I believe that now if we save this and we go in here onto the page, is all good, okay? So as you guys can see now, we can move things around, but they are not like remembering the position of it, okay? So in order for it to actually remember the position, we need to go inside of our drag drop context, and we're gonna pass in here an event, which is called on drag end. So it means that when you are dragging something and it ends, okay, we're gonna run a function called, let me just go in here and we're gonna call this drag end. Could be anything that you want, okay? I'm gonna call this function drag end. Let's create this function, const drag end. It's gonna be an arrow function. And now on this arrow function, what we're gonna do is we need to pass in here a parameter of result. And for now, I'm just gonna do a console.log of this result. So this means that whenever we are dragging and dropping something, this function should run, and we should log onto the console this parameter in here of result. So let's see what this parameter of result is. I'm gonna open my console. All right, I'm going to refresh my page, make sure that I'm fine. And now, what should I put in here? I'm just going to move this one. For example, this one, I'm going to move it onto the first position. And look what happened in here. We know that our function from here, this drag end, is logging this result onto the page. And as you can see, I moved this one, the third one, onto the first position. And as you can see, we got a result. We got the dot combine, dot destination, draggable, source, and so on. The destination is droppable ID. It goes on to this one. And the index is 0. So basically, we grab this onto this position. The destination is index 0, which is this one. And the source was the index of 2, because index 0, index 1, index 2. So we grab from here, here. Let's try again. I'm going to try now, for example, from this position, which would be the position of index 1, onto this position of index 2. Okay? So destination, index 2, correct? And where did we start? This is the source, index 1. All right, so this looks fine. So in here, in this drag end, that's where we need to put now some code. And what we want to do in here is we're going to do a const, and I'm going to put items. This is going to be my items or my products, whatever we want. Maybe I'm going to call them products. Okay, so const products is going to be now a new array, and I'm going to put in here a dot, 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 and oh, I don't think I can call, I'm going to call these product items, okay? Because we already got the products on the top. This is going to be equals to our state on the top, which is the products, all of these things. So we're just making a copy with a spread operator. Now that we got this, let's create a new variable called, for example, const ordered products, okay? And this is going to be equals to now my product items dot splice. So the splice, if you don't remember, is just going to look at the position that you want and then remove some sort of elements. So we're going to say that these ordered products is going to be equals to product items dot splice we're gonna start in here with the first position of the element that we want to start removing, which is gonna be the result dot source. Remember that I'm grabbing this from what I see in here on the screen, source. Okay, so I'm gonna say result.source.index. Okay, and the second parameter is how many elements do you want to remove after that thing. So basically, I'm saying that if I'm gonna start in here from this index, because I'm moving this around, from the original array, I'm just gonna remove from that position 1. Basically, I'm removing that element. Okay, we got this for this element. Now, the next part that we have in here is gonna be, I'm gonna do product items dot splice. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the opposite, which is gonna be the result. This time is not gonna be the source, but it's gonna be the destination. So destination. And in here, now I don't want to remove any element from here, but I wanna add a new element, which is gonna be this one that we saved from before. Okay, so if you guys don't remember well how all of this works in here, you should check one of my courses, which is the ES6 JavaScript, to know how all of this works. Right, okay, so we got all of these. Finally, because we have all our product items already updated, the next thing that we need to do is just set products. So if you don't remember, set products is our function that we got in here on the top. And these set products, we want to update with a new value, which is going to be these product items. Okay, and I think, if I'm not wrong, that we got everything right. Let's just give it a trial. So I'm going to grab this one, move it in here, and it's all good. I'm going to go in here and move it in here, and that is all good. Okay, so obviously at the moment, if you refresh the page, they just go back to normal. Look, I move this one to the first one and it's not remembering. Obviously now you would need to, this position of index that each one of them have, just store it on a database or something like that. So this was exactly what I was doing in here in the beginning of the video when I was like showing you my website. And should be very easy. But if you guys enjoy this tutorial, make sure that you leave me a thumbs up. If you want to see a next part where we actually save these values onto a database, let me know, because I can do it as well. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.